So just how concerned should we be about AI? Let's talk to Gregory Provan. He's a computer science professor at University College Cork in Ireland. Welcome to the programme, Professor. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Have you considered signing this letter?
I have signed it already, yes.
And why did you do that?
Because clearly I think we need to have a pause and we need to think about what the purpose of a pause might be. So, the letter is known to be a bit vague and doesn't take regulatory issues as seriously as it could. And I would say that tech regulation is long overdue. And so we need to get the stakeholders to sit together and to decide what the next steps will be.
And when you talk about the need for tech regulators to get together, I mean, tangibly, are your concerns, I don't know, things like students cheating on their exams, or is it things like disinformation, cybercrime? Give us a sense as to what your fears are as to where this AI could go.
Okay, so I do think the fears of, let's say, a Terminator coming to Earth and taking over the Earth are far overblown. But, there are some clear issues. I mean, if we take the example of the toxicity of Instagram to teenage girls, I mean, Microsoft knew about that and it took a whistleblower to bring that to light. And so, what we have here is an even more powerful technology that will probably bring in unseen dangers to society. And I don't think it's going to take over society. It's only going to be harmful in as much as we use it. So if we were to sign off from using things like Instagram or Facebook, then we wouldn't face this. But already the Bing search engine is using this technology, and we don't really know the outcomes of any search that we have. And because, all of us are so hooked into using these search engines, that's just the tip of the iceberg, I would say.
Indeed. And, we imagine that social media and perhaps AI as well will become bigger and bigger features in our lives in the years to come. I wonder, can you give us a sense, let's say 10 years' time, how big a role you think AI will play in our everyday and what it might look like?
Well, I think clearly AI is making huge leaps and it's going to play a bigger and bigger role in society. I do work on autonomous vehicles, and that's a very interesting area. People had forecast that we would have completely self-driving cars by now, and that's not been the reality of things. The issues are a lot more difficult than people suspected, and I would say that the issues with regard to ChatGPT or its subsequent variants taking over society will also be a long time in coming. But I do think that the stakeholders need to sit together and they need to identify, what are the allowable roles. If we take the analogy of the tobacco industry, like Facebook and its use of Instagram and knowledge of the damages of Instagram, tobacco knew that there were damage capabilities with its own industry and it hid them. And I do think that we need to get these tech companies and governmental agencies to sit down and figure out what is a good way forward. Right now, it's just an completely unregulated move forward. And I think that there are potential dangers in all of that.
Indeed, and perhaps one sort of immediate tangible problem is the way that these systems appear to reproduce biases that already exist in our society, particularly when it comes to gender, for example, or race. Is that something that you worry about with platforms like ChatGPT?
Absolutely, yes. And if you think about the way Google handled this woman who was raising issues with regard to the biases inherent in the Google software, we have exactly the same kind of thing, only it's magnified many times over. So in answer to your question about where do I think AI is going, I mean, clearly we're going to have self-driving vehicles. We're going to have very powerful search engines that we can interact with verbally. They're going to influence our decisions. Already social media influence our decisions. They've taken over many young people's lives in some senses. And I think that we need to really understand the ways in which we interact with the AIs that are going to be present now and in the future. And we need to think about what it is that we want and direct it in a direction that we want, rather than just allowing companies to push forward and have financial decisions dominate the future.
Professor Gregory Provan, it was really good to talk to you and get your views. Thanks very much, sir.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.